Hello world!
Hello.
Welcome to the newest edition of Hot Mess Video. Christy named it that last video that we did, so
Like, Hot Mess Video.
I think it's catchy. This is a new little background for us, so
Do you guys like it?
what do you think? You can give us some feedback. I don't know. Anyway, I'm Jen Lance,
Christy Locio.
and we are coming at you live from Carmel, Indiana, from Family Tree Counseling Associates. And so today we are just going to kind of talk about, what it's like to actually do some personal work. What does that mean? What to expect when you come in as far as what you talk about, what you can expect from your counselor. And so that's why it's called Come Sit on the Couch with Us. So that, I think a lot of people have the unknown of what it's going to be like to go to a counseling session and actually work on yourself. Like, well, what does that really mean to come in and do work on yourself? So we're hoping to give you some insight today and encourage you to, take the plunge.
Come sit on the couch with us.
Just come sit on the couch with us because we have we have room for you right here. So that's kind of creepy. But okay, so I thought maybe we'd start by saying, that when you think about doing work on yourself, you can't really predict what that means because a lot of times you don't really know what your issues are. You might see patterns in your life, but you don't really know what that means, so you can't really, say, I'm going to go into counseling and this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And I think that could be hard for people.
Yeah, and that was the first thing that came up for me that kind of ties in with that is it's okay to be anxious. I think most people that come in the first time are like really nervous, and like I've had people that are like sit down and just like instantly cry just because they have so much like anxiety about the session build up, and I just always like to say that's okay. I think that's normal, and I think people sometimes think they're weird or they're freaked out because they're so freaked out about therapy. So first of all, it's okay to be anxious, and I think that's part of it is you don't know what you're getting into, and I think people maybe have like the gut instinct that they know that what they're coming in for, that it's much deeper than that. They may be coming in because their partner is having an affair, or they may be coming in because them and their partner are not communicating well, but really the issues are much deeper than that we have to dig into, and I think sometimes people sense that, and that's where their anxiety comes from. Is like, we're not coming in here to talk about communication stuff. We're coming in here to talk about, some deeper stuff we got going on. So
I think that's really a good way to put it, because it's, when you think about coming in, it's like, I'm going to admit that there are bigger issues going on. And that's not comfortable for people. But let's get past that. Let's just say, okay, I'm going to trust that, come in, see Christy or Jen, and I'm going to admit. So then what? Then what to expect. And I think the first thing that people should know about coming in is that our style is not to sit on the couch or sit on the chair and nod at you and listen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's if you're looking for that, we're definitely not a good fit for you, because we both like to talk and we both have a lot of insight, and we are going to give you feedback. So that's when we think about coming in. Think about, you will get feedback from us.
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of it.
Our style is, we think people need to know the truth. About what's going on in their lives, or even we want to give you awareness. We don't want to have knowledge inside of our brains going on. Oh my gosh.
I see it too.
There's like a weird animal.
No,
it's a goose. Sorry, distracted.
There's a goose outside my window, and
there's a big goose.
ADHD's kicking in a little bit.
And I promise I will not get distracted in the set. No. I won't promise that.
She doesn't have windows, so she doesn't, have to see the
Yes, actually, windows are not good for me. I get distracted. No, I promise I will be listening to you every step of the way in your session. But that was funny. There's a big goose walking by. But anyway, what was I talking about?
Feedback.
Yes, thank you.
And I always tell people when they come in here, I ask them if they've had other counselors. I always like to ask, like, what did you like about them? What did you not like about them? Just to kind of get a sense of maybe what they need or what they're looking for.
That's true.
And I'll tell you, the number one response I get for what they don't like is, they didn't give me much. They just kind of like agreed or just nodded their head or just validated. And while that can be good at times, we feel like here that, Family Tree, that people need more. And I'm going to tell you how I perceive you, how I think your partner perceives you, because it's painful sometimes to hear, but it's really what's going to make a difference in your life. Like, a lot of the stuff that we give you feedback is probably stuff that's been floating around in your head anyway, but like to actually...
Simmer in there.
Yeah, but to say it out loud, to like actually put it out there, then all of a sudden now you have to work on it, and now it's real because, you know, it's outside of just your noggin. So
yeah, so that should be a good expectation, that you're going to come in and be able to look in the mirror. You know, that is the process of therapy, is
right.
to have a mirror held up to you. And that's what the other person is there for. That's what your counselor is there for. So, you know, I think it would be good, whether you're going to come to us or, you know, maybe you're in Florida and you're going to go see someone else. If you don't feel comfortable with your counselor, it's really not going to be productive.
Yeah, find a new one.
Yeah, because you want someone that you can say, I'm going to be okay if this person is going to give me feedback that I need to hear, but I don't want to hear it.
You have to be able to be vulnerable with us. Like, I would say, I don't know, 95% of my clients have cried if, like, you know, or people that stay, you know, will get to a point where they're vulnerable and they're sad, and they're like, you have to be able to do that with your counselor. So you have to have a level just of, like, connection of, it just has to feel okay, if that makes sense. Like a trust, yeah, that's a good word. That, you know, that you have to be able to say, like, I trust my counselor, and, like, just like our personalities fit and all that.
And I think what's interesting is that if a lot of people do come from a place of distrust from things that have gone on in their life, and so thinking about going in and trusting a stranger is really uncomfortable. And I just want to, you know, give you some encouragement that you might go to a counselor and it doesn't feel right and you don't feel like you can trust them. So that doesn't represent every single counselor out there.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be able to say there's someone out there that I can trust, and if it's not with the first person, try again. I've had clients who have, you know, tried multiple counselors, and that, although that is a flag, we need to process those trust issues if we're seeing multiple counselors, because it can't be possible that multiple counselors are, you know, not giving you good feedback.
But it's like a doctor, though. I mean, have you ever gone to a doctor and, like, I was like, that appointment just didn't go well. I'm not feeling it. And so you go try another one and you find one that you really like. It's kind of the same thing. Is like, don't feel like if you go to one, that means that you're not going to have that connection or trust with any of them.
Right.
And it may not be with us, but we just encourage you to make sure you find somebody that you can be real with, you can be honest with. And another thing I know that a lot of people worry about is people worry about being judged. And, you know, I was just talking to a client yesterday about this, that I'm not here to judge you. I don't have any judgment. Like, I feel like it's my job that I try to put together why it happened. So say somebody has an affair on their spouse and they're scared that they're going to come in and kind of have the counselor, like, you know, naughty, shame on you. Is, you know, I think our kind of method is, I'm not going to judge that. I know that there was something going on with your issues, your dynamics, the marriage dynamics that led to that. Let's figure that out so that it doesn't happen again, so that you can work on those issues. I'm just not going to shame you about it, because that doesn't do any good.
Yeah.
It's not helpful.
That's not going to help.
It makes it worse. Yeah. It's going to make you pull even farther apart from people and have less trust. So, we are very non-judgmental. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to say, oh, it's great, you had an affair. We're not going to do that. But we're going to say, okay, let's figure out what happened. I want to figure out why this happened so that it doesn't happen again, because that is going to be a million times more productive than just saying it was bad. You know it was bad. You know that it hurt somebody. So
right. Yeah. You know that you could be making healthier choices.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
So when you're talking about that, the other thing that came up was you say, like, why are you having an affair? Another thing that you know, you should be doing in your counseling sessions is challenging your beliefs. You know, that's one thing that we really work on is, okay, and we, you know, the counseling word paradigm, we like to use the word paradigm around here, that, you know, what are your paradigms? Why are you choosing an affair? Why are you choosing to love your spouse the way that you love them, or to love your children the way you love them, or live your life, you know, in general, overall? Why are you living life the way you're living life? What paradigms or beliefs do you have, and are those paradigms working for you? So that's one thing that we do talk about in our counseling sessions is, okay, you might need a paradigm shift. So part of what you're supposed to do here is really challenge your own beliefs, challenge your paradigms. Maybe your parents had affairs, you know, maybe that's a family pattern. or maybe avoidance is a paradigm for emotions, and so we find ways to avoid, and possibly an affair could be part of that, or burying our head in the sand whenever anything emotional comes up. So that's really your job in counseling, is to challenge what your paradigms are and say, hey, this one's not working, and I trust you to help me figure out how to create a new one. And it's not easy, it does not happen overnight.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, you can change your paradigm. I'm like, it sounds like the simplest statement ever said. You
can't change your
You just came in and paid me to say that, but it's true. Like, people get stuck in that. This is the way I've always seen the world. This is the way people have taught me that I should see the world. And so I can't change it. And sometimes you just need somebody to say, guess what? You can change it. Even just because that's what you grew up and believing and people told you to believe doesn't make it right.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that people don't even understand that they are functioning within certain paradigms, within beliefs, that, affairs are normal, affairs are okay, love is not intimate, whatever you've learned growing up. And so, you are here to learn about yourself, you're here to gain awareness about where your issues come from, and if you're not ready for that, counseling might not be productive. You might find yourself going 2 or 3 sessions and giving up.
Right.
If you're not ready to do the work, and that's okay. That's actually
you have to be ready.
You have to be ready, and people do go through that learning process of coming in, getting some insight, not ready to make the changes, not ready. Paradigm shifts are they're
hard.
Scary.
Yeah.
And they're what does that mean? What will my life look like if I change that paradigm? And so sometimes they leave, and we might see them come back in a year.
And I will tell you what, like, we as humans try to keep things the same. Like, we do not like change. We do not like change. Even if it's for the best.
No, right.
That we don't like change. And, to the point where sometimes family systems will, like, try to sabotage, say there's an alcoholic in the family, and they start to get sober. Sometimes the family will actually kind of like...
What's going on? We don't...
they'll almost sabotage that person's recovery because it feels so different. They don't necessarily do it consciously, but that's what therapy is for, so you can kind of see those dynamics until that change has been there for a while, until that person's been sober for a while, and now all of a sudden that's the new norm, and that feels good. We don't like change, and I don't know if you've ever worked at a place where, say, they changed, like, the whole computer system or something. What is that like? Like,
people are up in arms.
Oh my God, people complain, and it's awful, and it's horrible, and this is the worst thing ever, and this is awful, I can't believe they're doing this to us. Go back and survey them like 6 months later, and they're like, this is great, we love it, it's perfect, and that's just how change is, because we don't like it.
Exactly.
Even if it's for the best. So people fight it, so that's kind of our job, is to push you through that, like, fight to change.
It's really true that a lot of work that we do is that resistance to changing a lifestyle or changing something big that's going on, whether it's a job or relationship or so all these things that are that we're talking about are just why you come to counseling, and I think we talked about this in our last video, and I just want to say it again. You don't have to come to counseling if you have a crisis. In fact, come to counseling before the crisis happens.
Because then you'll be ready for the crisis.
You'll be ready, and you can actually move through it
much better,
much easier. Not that it's not hard, but your life does not have to crumble during a crisis.
So, well, I think that is kind of a good overview of what to expect if you come into counseling. So we'll wrap it up for today. And if you have any questions or want to make an appointment or have ideas that you want us to do in future videos,
we want to hear from you.
Yes, my email is ChristyFamilyTree, ChRISTY, familytree@live.com.
And I'm JLanceFamilyTree@yahoo.com. And we're on Facebook, so find Hot Mess Radio on Facebook and like us, and you can find all of our other videos and podcasts there.
All right, bye.